Righto, ladies and gentlemen, let's move right into this and get this done as quickly as possible. We had an issue tonight with Zoom, and I'm re-recording this after the fact. So those of you that have asked questions, I'm sorry I won't have the questions recorded here. I spent an hour and a half on the phone with Zoom getting that fixed, but we've finally got it sorted. So this is our usual Brains Trust, and there's more people being added all the time. This is an open forum platform. So Mr. Seravalli in Adelaide, he tends to dig things up just to make me look bad. And, sometimes you just got to put up with that and have a bit of a laugh as well. So here's our usual sponsors, Skippy, Easy Shopping Cards, and Loveday Vehicle Lubricants. And I use all three of them, and I get a lot of dead ants when Mr. Skippy comes around. But we've got some new ones. We've got Enzo's in Adelaide, and Mr. Seravalli called me today to say that he was partaking of a cold ale in Enzo's, just to remind me that the beer was cold there. We've also got Neil at Marketive Minds, and I can tell you that Neil does quite a bit of online marketing for people very successfully. Now, just to point out, this is our opinion. We are expressing our views as affiliates only. We do not represent the company Karatbars International. But the mission is, through Karatbars, to bring pure gold to all people, to get them out of the debt cycle. And look, once you understand how money works and what's gone on with all of that for years, it's very, very clear that the debt cycle is what causes lots of problems. So if you get out of the debt cycle and you start to carry gold around, you can see that gold holds its purchasing power. A kilo of gold in 1920, a kilo of gold in 2019, they buy about the same thing, unlike dollars. So this is why you should be buying gold. It's portable, it's durable, it's divisible, and it's fungible. Yes, fungible. It's freely exchangeable. So just get your head around the fact that what we have our hands on today is a 5,000-year-old medium of exchange. And this is what our universe looks like, Carat Pay, which will be going onto the blockchain very soon. Carat Gold, which is the company in Singapore that builds the cash gold, etc. CaratNet, our very own independent blockchain. K Merchant, which is the system that allows us to pay merchants with our cryptocurrency or our gold. And the WIM laptop and the K1 phone. Now, both those things we'll talk about very soon in this presentation. Pay attention to them. They are on the cutting edge. The CEM, the cash exchange machine, cash gold exchange machine, that's where you can walk up to the machine and get your gold out with your QR code or your credit card. And CaratBit is where you can trade your own currencies. Now, it's a fully fledged trading platform, and it's undergoing some changes right at the moment, but they're very, very cool. So just make sure you understand what that looks like and what that universe is going to empower us to achieve. So the tech news from Madrid. Number one, we're going to have low Earth orbit satellites within 12 months, owned by Karatbars. Now, that should excite some people because we will have our own system attached to the K1 phones. The first K1 phones have, in fact, already been delivered to members of the European Union, or soon to be not members of the European Union. I know that Sean Maloney was talking very fondly about what his phone looked like. So if you ordered a black phone and you live in Europe and etc., then you've already got your phone, or it's in the post to you. Those of us that live outside of Europe and potentially did not pick black, we're just going to wait in line. Now, the blockchain. Understand what this means. If you're driving down the freeway in an autonomous vehicle and someone doesn't like you and they decide to hack into the control system and swerve it off a bridge at the next opportunity, how are you going to feel about that? That's been one of my problems with autonomous vehicles up to date, and this is going to be a great addition to those vehicles, adding our blockchain to it. So you've got voice over blockchain protection with all the comms around the vehicle and the systems that they use to communicate. Really like that idea. This is just tech news and they're only snippets. I don't have all the details yet, folks. They're looking for business applications for the blockchain, and there's been a number of them come forward already. So just watch out for that. It's going to be used a lot. But this one is already underway. They're using the CarrotNet blockchain in conjunction with the company that builds military drones. Now, I don't know whether you remember, but a couple of years ago there was a US drone that was landed in Syria, and the Syrians made a lot of noise about it and talked at length about it. And how they did that was they hacked into the control signals for the drone and made it land, this is the Syrians, made it land where they wanted it to. Now here is an opportunity for the system to be, I suppose, arguably to some degree hack-proof, because the key changes all the time. But blockchain used in those communications protocols will make a massive difference. And right now your KCB can be swapped into new KBC or bank stock right now in CarrotBit. So I'm going to have a quick run through. I don't have all the answers. What I can't tell you is what the equity in the bank is going to be worth, what we think the roadmap is. All of those sort of things we don't have the answers to yet, but we are keeping on top of it, and we will get out the information to you as quickly as possible, because you need to make some of these decisions very, very quickly. So this is where you go to swap your KCB. You can see when you go into CarrotBit, you'll see an exchange button there, and I've set this up now to exchange 10 KCB into KBC. This is the new KBC. So that's a multiplication factor of 2.54. So just understand that if you swap into the new KBC, they're on the new blockchain, and everyone has to make one decision, either KBC or equity. So this is where you go. Once you've completed that step, you'll see that nothing's changed on your dashboard, but if you look over here in this new tab, it says KCB conversions, and when you open that, you will see you've got KCB exchanges, and right there is the amount of KCB you've exchanged into the new KBC. Now, sooner or later, everyone has to go through this decision-making process. Now, if you want to swap for equity, you can see there's a voucher tab over there, and I didn't actually record a screenshot of what it looks like when you do that. You go back to the same thing and KCB value vouchers, and you'll see that we've got 10 vouchers down there will convert into equity. No, I can't answer the question about is that a good idea or not. I don't have the information yet. There is a PR document in our back office that gives us information about the new gold standard bank. It looks pretty good. Will I convert some of my KCB into equity? Yes, I will. I don't know what that percentage is yet. I'm waiting for information before I make that decision. But one thing I don't want to do is convert all of the equity in my coins into something that might pay me a lot in 2 or 3 or 4 years. I want to make sure that what I've worked so hard for in the last few months actually generates something for me in the near term. but I will put some equity into the bank. I will absolutely support that process, because I think long term having our own bank is an absolute great idea. So the gold standard bank we were just talking about, they are putting Carat Pay on the blockchain. So the ability to pay with gold that's in your gold wallet on your phone, it will be added onto the blockchain in the very near future. And the gold standard bank is really pivotal in the finance side of what we do with K-Merchant, with us as individuals paying for things. This is a major implementation, and I've got to tell you, I'm really excited about it, because there's a whole lot of people that have had a whole lot of trouble with banks in the last few months. The Gold Standard Bank is hoping to have 20,000 points of presence very quickly. Now, the only way you can do that is if you're negotiating with someone to take this on board. Now, when I say points of presence, I mean places where you can walk into with a handful of gold and walk out with a handful of money, or walk in with a handful of money and walk out with a handful of gold. Trade in your coins, all that sort of stuff. It's a full service platform they're talking about, and I've got to say, in my experience, that Mr. Seitz and Joseph Haidt are both very, very good at doing these sorts of deals, so I think they'll pull that off in the very near future. They've done it extraordinarily well thus far. Coming up in the future, very near future actually, is a new movie with Samuel L. Jackson and Michael Keaton in, and it will feature the WIM laptops and the K1 phones. Now, I don't know whether you remember back as far as when The Matrix was made, but in that movie, Nokia paid for their slide phones to be used, and they sold millions of those phones from that movie. And if that creates the sort of excitement, the press awareness, the public awareness of what we've got, I'm pretty excited about that, because that's going to create a lot of volume. Now, here's a couple of dates to remember. So between now and the 4th of January, yes, the 4th of January, you only have a week and a bit. You need to decide whether you're going to swap your coins for KBC, new KBC on the new blockchain, or equity in the bank. Now, I'm going to do a bit of both. I haven't decided what that petition is yet, but I will absolutely take some equity in the bank, and I will take a bunch of KBC as well. Any KCB placed on CaratBit after January the 4th is only exchangeable into equity in the bank. Now, that means that any KCB you drop into CaratBit on the January the 5th, you will not be able to swap it for KBC, which you can swap into gold. You will put it in there and you will get equity in the bank. Now, I can't tell you whether that's a good thing or a bad thing at this point. We don't have the information. We will in the very near future, but at the moment, we just don't have it. As soon as we get it, we will email it out and make sure that everyone gets a chance to read it before the 4th of January. So we're working very hard on that at the moment. So on January the 5th, all restrictions on CaratBit are lifted. So you can buy, sell, trade, do whatever you like to do, and you can give away coins, you can sell coins, you can move it into gold, whatever you want. CaratBit will be fully fledged on January the 5th, and that's going to be very, very cool for us in the future. I'm going to skip past this next little video. We'll come back to that on another day when we've got some more time. But here's a date that you need to write down. We've had to change the date for our function at the Sunshine Coast. It is now on June 12, 13, 14 at Caloundra, the Caloundra Event Centre. Now, when we first booked the Mantra, we thought we would have a pretty good shot at getting 100, 150 people into a room that seated 200. Well, I can tell you that that number has been blown out of the water. This room seats a lot more than that, but seats are limited. Technically, it can seat up to 1,200, but most of you can't see the stage, so you don't want to be there. You want to be in the first 500 that can see the stage and get a really good view and a handle on it. This will be a lot of fun. It will be really entertaining and enlightening. We have people already committed from England. We potentially will have people from the States. We may have somebody from Carrot Bar's corporate fly out here. We will have a live link with a number of people over there. But look, please put this date down. You need to get to this event. It will be an eye-opener. So, ladies and gentlemen, there was a lot of time spent on questions and answers, but at the end of the day, we don't have a lot of information yet. This information that we've just talked about tonight became available to us this afternoon about 3 or 4 o'clock. So we will get this out to you as soon as we have it. I will be on the phone again to headquarters as soon as I've finished this recording. We need to find out about the bank information. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. We look forward to seeing you on the beaches of the world.